right. I mean, which
Mm.
that could maybe eventually happen, but it's it's still not to that level. So much would have to manifest and
Yeah,
become real, and it would have to leak into the outside world a hell of a lot more, man.
totally. It's only beginning. It really is
Yeah.
only beginning.
I want to second what you said about the isolation and like the need for collaboration. We have what Teilhard writes of like the two possible ways forward for the human species at this point. One leads into increasing isolation, where those more mystically oriented people who have this deep sense of what's wrong with the world will just retreat into themselves and shun society and say that there's a chaotic place by its very nature, and sort of just leave it to collapse upon itself. The other option is to do the exact opposite, which is uh, begin to collaborate and to release ourselves from that, communally trying to meet the challenges that it's because all these like collective structures and the sort of oppressive forms of culture that we talk about, that really what it is, what allows that to is people feeling isolated. If people start participating in society again, and realizing that whatever that word society means, it's actually just the relationships that you have with people
Hmm.
on a day-to-day basis around you, then start
Mm.
to work towards change. And it's like evil is ourselves for feeling when it's when we feel isolated that the world has to change.
Yeah,
And that's a good thing, because it just realize that all we need to do uh, is allow ourselves will work itself out. Uh, I hope,
hopefully.
but I'm
Yeah, I
definitely looking
mean,
forward to building the momentum
Oh,
in
there.
this
yeah, I
project,
mean,
because sometimes it's seeking towards a solution with some other people as fine as yourselves really excites me.
thanks, man. Yeah, I mean,
Am I cutting out a lot?
yeah,
Yeah, we're just barely
yeah,
catching you.
I'm trying to intuit. I got the gist of it
Yeah,
though, and
What's up, you guys? Come on.
it was inspirational nonetheless.
yeah, I got the gist of it, and I wanna say, I thought about that first option for a real long time. There's points with me, and I tend to be reclusive in nature, that I just thought, all right, then I'm just gonna retreat, and I'm just gonna like William Irwin Thompson talks about the radical politics of Lao Tse and coming into being, that like radical spiritual cave mode. I thought, yep, that's me right there.
Yeah, I
And
was
just
thinking the same kind
why,
of thing.
like, yeah, just like
Yeah.
why am I gonna try to waste all my energy in such a, I don't know, what I felt was a really disingenuous civilization that really didn't care about any of these things. I couldn't find anyone in my personal life to speak about these things much. Maybe one really, really close friend who knows who he is. Um, but it was a real down point for me. And then coming to your videos and the Holland Network and starting to think, well, at least let me talk to these cats and see what comes out of it, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
you
yeah,
know,
I mean, let's do this.
yeah. This is it. This is the thing we're talking about. Like, we're coming out of this isolation, and this is the seeds of whatever that culture is going to be, and it's probably going to be so much more diverse than ever before. It's not going to be like American culture or even internet culture. It's something else, and
Mm,
we're creating what the world,
Yeah.
I guess, is kind of lacking: the sense of community and art. And this is totally an example of just coming together and doing that, which is why I love the idea of the Single Eye website. This is a place to kind of begin to just have a place to gravitate towards for that sort of thing. And then the Holons Network, how now all of a sudden all these isolated YouTubers are coming together and talking to each other. You know, it's conversion. It's great. Me, I guess.
Yeah, if the two can work together as much as possible, it'll be beautiful. I mean, I think there are slightly different emphasis, but it's one ultimately, just
Yeah.
like us. So we have
Well,
to do what we can to push it forward, to evolve it, and make the formal concentration on the what we see as disparate schools and elements of thought, really synthesize those and make something out of them and say, look, these aren't these aren't things that are not unitive. You know, they do have real power and real unity in their modes of thought. And I think the more that we come to from all of our different influences and throw it in the melting pot and see what happens,
yeah.
see what I've had a lot of questions on what we plan to do and how we plan to do this and what our
Cool.
long-term goals are and what our short-term goals. And I've posted a manifesto on the website, which can be found about general intentions. I think short-term goals, lots of content, articles that discuss all of these things, videos in all different forms, music that complements those videos. Uh, and long-term goals, I think we can get to eventually with maybe even a business model later on down the line. But I think the short-term goals need to be addressed and are addressing right now. We already have an established writer on board who has tons of experience in synthesizing all of these thinkers together, you know.
Hmm.
And that's only going to open up the doors for more to come, and especially those who are not satisfied with the forms that they have for communication in the academies. And I mean, this is really going to be a place for genuine alternative media. That's what it means, like a space that can manifest all of these things in a unique way that's never been done before. And there's no other space, as far as I know, attempting to do what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Uh,
I hope it does. This sort of model does start to crop up everywhere. You know, that people
seriously.
just start talking to each other about these ideas, and that it sort of just virally invades the whole media sphere or no sphere. And you know, I think we're where uh, these technologies in some way isolated us. There's the potential there for them also unify us uh, with just sort of an immediate emergence of some higher level of empathy. Um, you know, war much more difficult now, like or violence of any kind. Like I think of in Iran last year when all was coming back about the violence that was going on there. It put pressure on the government to stop it. You know,
Yeah,
because
absolutely. On the political
the
level,
world
there really,
reacts now as a whole to violence or tragedy or disaster that happens anywhere.
It's becoming more
Uh,
responsive,
and so,
almost like organism in a sense. The nerves are tingling where there's pain, and it's so interesting how it's happening like that. The internet has so much
yeah,
potential.
mm-hmm.
when it's not when it's not filtered through CNN and Fox or however it's filtered through, when you don't splice in detergent commercials with war, for instance,
Yeah,
and you get a completely uh, disconnected form of what violence really means.
yeah,
I do think it's affecting us on new levels, and the more that we can face that shadow and manifest it, and also let it into our hearts, for Christ's sake, because when we go and we watch all this violence on the news, and we just sit there and take it in with the commercials and the rest of it, and there's no actual feeling involved, it's not the thinking, okay? It's that your heart is shut off. You're
yeah.
closed down as a human being to a humane response to an insane situation.